I'm Paul, and this is AM Rock Tumbling. If you're new to our channel, thanks for stopping by and checking us out. And if you like the video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you see the rest of our videos. And if you're already a subscriber, we appreciate you stopping by to check out the 12-pound barrel, because it's Sunday and we're going through the 12-pound barrel today. Looks a little red. Must be the red Jasper we have in there. I'm not sure how well that comes up on the camera, but it's got a little orange-red tint to it today. We've got some of our girt on top there, and I see some unakite and some tiger eye and amethyst and a bunch of our red Jasper. Bunch of crazy lace. See some Labradorite and some unakite, some Petrified Wood, more of the unakite and crazy lace, the red Jasper, some amethyst, all right, I'll go ahead and go through that and see what's ready to move on to the next stage, and we'll come back and take a look at some of it and see what we have to fill the barrel up this week. All right, this is all the stuff we're pulling out this week. We've got a pretty good clean out this week. And all of it's not perfect. A lot of it has some things that basically you can't get rid of, or it would be nothing left of it. And it'll be good enough for what we're going to do with it. None of it's anything that's really super great stuff, but we've got some petrified wood. These are some pieces of Arizona petrified wood that I cut, and those are looking pretty nice. It's got a little fracture in it right there, but the rest of it looks really nice. And we've got some of this petrified wood that's, I don't know what kind it is. It's something we ordered from a rock shop out of Oregon. And it's gray and white. And then this is one of my favorite pieces. I like this one. It's got really awesome wood grain in it. So that one's pretty cool. And I thought there was another piece of that, but I'm not seeing it. This is a little miscellaneous pile. And then we've got some of our red Jasper. And a lot of this stuff, it was crushed or whatever, and it's really thin. So I figure in the 12-pound barrel, there's probably a lot of action in there, and they all have nice smooth edges on them now, so I don't want them to break. So we're just going to end up pulling a lot of this stuff out because it's really thin. And then we've got two little pieces of unakite that are going to come out. And then that's our pile of amethyst coming out this week. And then we also have some crazy lace coming out this week. And again, this stuff isn't perfect, but a lot of it has some really cool patterns and stuff in it. And it might have things like this. You could probably tumble that for a long time, and it might go all the way into the rock, and you'll never get rid of it. So I'm just going to pull it out while it's looking pretty nice, and it's still pretty large, and it's got really cool pattern on it. So that's the story on a lot of that. And then we also have some Labradorite, and this stuff's pretty cool. Like, this one's really thin, and the edge, you can see how the edge is already starting to chip because it's so thin. So if I leave it in there, next week there won't be anything left, and it might not make it through the tumbling process the way it is, but it's got a nice little flash to it. And I saw another piece that had a really cool blue flash on it. But, oh, there it is right there. I thought that this was a piece. You can see how cool. And there's some flaws on the top of it there, but it's a pretty small piece the way it is. But it's got that cool blue flash on it. So we're going to move that along. And I think most of these pieces have some flash on them. So we're just going to move them along. And they'll be all right for what we're doing with them. It's not the best quality Labradorite that you can get anyways, so it doesn't need to be perfect. So yeah, that's everything that we're taking out of the barrel this week, and we're moving that on, and that'll be in some of our miscellaneous batches out of the Lotto tumbler. And as long as we've got the close-up camera on, I kind of wanted to take a look at some of the things that we're going to throw in the barrel this week. And one of the things we're throwing in the barrel this week are some Montana moss agates that we got from a viewer. He sent us a box, and maybe you've seen our video already, but we're going to get these started on stage 1. And I'm not going to tumble the heck out of these because they're pretty awesome. I don't have much. I've got a couple of really large Montana moss agates that I'm going to cut that I've gotten at a rock show, but I'm just going to run them. They might just get a week in coarse grit just to round everything off decently, because a lot of them have pretty good fractures and stuff in them. So I'm not, and like that one's all, it's got some cracks in it, and it might even break in there, I'm not sure. But we're just going to tumble this stuff for probably a week, I think. We'll see how I feel next week, see how they're looking. But like that, I'm not going to get rid of that. I could cut it, but then I'm going to make it really small. So I'm thinking my plan is just 1 week, possibly 2, and we'll move them on to the next stage because they're really cool, and I don't want to tumble the heck out of them and make them tiny. So I think we got one more here, and that's the last one. So we're going to throw those in this week, and all this stuff is coming out, so that leaves us some pretty good room for some other things, and we will look at that when we get set back up to fill the tumbler barrel back up. All right, here's a few of the things that I pulled out of the barrel to look at that are going to go back in. There's a couple of pieces of Unikite. Those are looking really nice. They've got a little bit of time left in there, though. We're going to try to get a couple more of the flaws out. And we've got a few pieces of the Tiger Eye. The gold Tiger Eye. We just put those in last week, but they're smoothing out nice. I always loved that stuff. Ever since I started getting into tumbling, I've always thought that stuff was really cool. And here's another piece of petrified wood, like the piece we took out. It's got really awesome wood grain on it. But I've got a couple of things on this I'd like to smooth out a little bit more before we pull it out. And this is an agate. I don't know exactly what kind it is, but it's something I bought at a rock show. And it was just a broken piece of it. It's not real big. It's got a few fractures on this side that I'm hoping to get some more of those out of there, and then maybe take some more of this. The backside's pretty rough here. Smooth some more of that off, but I'm not going to tumble it away because I really like all the banding on there. It looks really cool. So that's going back in. And other than that, we just have a few pieces of our girt that we found locally, and it's rounding off. That one's got some lines and bands and stuff. Not bands, I wouldn't say, but it's got lines in it. It's a pretty good sized piece, so it'll take a while. And there's a couple of them, like this one has got a lot of fractures in it. And I've tried another piece like this one time, and those fractures went all the way in. But I'm going to give it a couple more weeks before I call it quits on that one. This one's kind of neat. It's got some white specks in it, kind of all over the place on it. And I think it's just girt, but it's got some cool little details in it. So it's smoothing up really nice. I think it doesn't have a lot of crazy colors, but it'll shine up nice. And most of this, oh, there was one more piece of Unikite in there. I like that with the red and the green. That stuff's really cool. I've got a bunch more of it to cut up, and we'll get some more of that going. And the rest of this is just, I think that this one might possibly be a piece of petrified wood, because it kind of has some, like, the petrified wood look to it. I don't know if I'd necessarily say like the wood rings or the lines that you have in petrified wood, but it's kind of similar. We'll see what it looks like. We'll give it a few more weeks. So we've got all that, and then we've got our Montana moss agates that we're going to throw in, or maybe just moss agates. I'm pretty sure it's Montana moss agate. So we'll get those going. They may only go a week. And then we've got some pretty good room in the barrel this week. We took a lot of stuff out. Don't need that much water. Yeah. So we've got our little bowl here with some cut pieces and some scraps of tiger eye, Labradorite, and Unikite. So we're going to dump some more of that in. A couple of big pieces of tiger eye on the bottom here. I think we're just going to dump that whole bowl in. Bunch of scraps. And then I think we've got a little room left because we're just under 2/3 or maybe right at 2/3. So I think we'll throw in a little bit more of our red Jasper. I think we'll call that good. I'm going to dump just a little more water. All right, we've got our water, all of our material. We've got our 14 tablespoons of our 4670 that we're going to throw in there. And we'll button that back up and get it back on the tumbler for a week, and we'll be ready to look at it again next week. That's all we got for today. Thanks for watching.